This is how to merge data frames in Pandas using different join types. So here we have Pandas imported with an alias of pd, and we have created two data frames here, the first one with ID and name, and the second data frame with ID and job. And we'll be using the ID column to merge these two data frames. So to merge data frames in Pandas, we use the Pandas merge function. So to demonstrate that, let's start with an inner join. An inner join will only return rows where the ID value exists in both data frames. So let's create a mergedf variable and call our pd.merge function. Now our first parameter is going to be the first data frame we want to merge, followed by the second data frame. And we need to specify which column we're merging it on, which is ID in this case. And finally, we're just going to call how inner to tell the function that we want to use an inner join. So if we print the result here, you can see that mergedf only includes rows where the ID exists in both data frame 1 and data frame 2. Now, an inner join is actually the default behavior for the Pandas merge function. So if I were to remove this how here and run it, it's going to default to an inner join. But I do think it's a good idea for clarity to include the how parameter. Next, we'll look at a left join. A left join returns all rows from the left data frame, which would be data frame 1 here, and any matching rows from the right data frame 2 here. If there's no match, you'll get a null value. So let's see that in action. Change our comment to left join, and we're going to change our how parameter argument to left rather than inner. And you can see from the results, it's kept all of our data frame 1, and it's joined any matching rows with ID from data frame 2. Notice that Matthew from data frame 1 is included, even though there's no matching ID of job in data frame 2 for Matthew. So his job shows as a null value. So we want to use a left join when you want to keep all the data from the first data frame regardless of matches in the second. Similarly, a right join would keep all rows from the right data frame and only matching rows from the left. So let's see that, shall we? Right join, how? Right. So in this example, all rows from data frame 2 are included, and if there's no match in data frame 1, you'll see the null value as with manager here. Now the final most common join type that you'll want is an outer join. You'll want an outer join if you want to include all rows in both data frames, whether they match or not. So let's see what that looks like, shall we? So with how outer, you get a complete merge, keeping all rows from both data frames, even when there's no match, and any missing values will be filled in with a null. Outer joins are a really useful merging technique if you want to get a full view of both data frames when they're merged together. Now, just a warning, when merging data frames, one thing to be cautious of is unwanted duplicates. This can happen if the column you're merging on isn't unique in one or both data frames. So if you have multiple rows with the same value in the on column here, that can lead to some duplicate rows in your result. I'll just show you what I mean here. So if I create a duplicate ID in our second data frame, and then we'll change this back to a left merge here, you can see that we now have duplicate values in our name column that you may not want. So that's just something to be cautious of. And if you want to check whether or not there are duplicated values in a data frame column, you can do so really easily by just going df1, call the column id.duplicated, .any. And in this case, there aren't any duplicate IDs in our data frame 1, so we get a false result. But as we can see, we have a duplicate in our data frame 2 right now. So if I change that to data frame 2, you will get a true result. So here's another thing that's super important to know when merging data frames in Pandas. In this example, our column that we're merging on has the same name in both of our data frames. But you may have a situation where they don't. So let's call this df1 ID and df2 ID. I'm just going to remove this duplicate ID here. So in this case, if we try to run this, it's going to throw an error because it cannot find the ID column anymore in our data. So instead of calling the on parameter in the merge function, we're instead going to call left on and right on. And all this means is which column we want to merge in the left data frame and which column we want to use to merge in the right data frame. So in this case, it would be df1 ID, so you can see up here for our left data frame, and df2 ID for the right data frame. And then it works absolutely perfectly. So to recap, you can merge data frames in Pandas using different join types, depending on how you want to combine your data. In this video, we've covered inner joins, left joins, right joins, and outer joins. I hope this has been useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.